Hey, what is going on, everybody out there? This is Jakejames Lugo. Welcome to the channel and welcome to a brand new episode of A Definitive Discussion Rebooted, my talk show podcast where I bring on phenomenal individuals from all over the place around the internet to talk about gaming, talk about YouTube, and talk about a whole bunch of different stuff and really deep dive into the subjects that I think you guys are really going to enjoy. If you guys haven't already, please check out some of the previous episodes. I've had a lot of different guests. I just had Colin Moriarty on recently. I had Pam Cannot Be Tamed on recently. There's a lot of great topics and discussions that we had that I know you guys will really love. But today, I got Josh, better known as Game Dad here on YouTube, and he also goes by the name Honorient. I think I pronounced that right this time.
You got it.
I got it, Honorient. But he's on here now on the show with me. Welcome. We're going to talk a little bit about starting up YouTube or becoming, being an up-and-comer YouTube channel or YouTube content creator or content creator, as a lot of people say, in a lot of different sections of the internet and stuff. Because I figured this would be something cool to dive into because I haven't had somebody who's really kind of like just starting out on YouTube on the show as of yet. So I was like, you know what? This would be a perfect opportunity to really explore this. But Josh, welcome. I mean, how are you feeling so far being on YouTube? I mean, is it good? Is it fail? Is it epic win?
It's been fun so far, let me tell you. And I want to thank you once again, James, for having me, or Jakejames for having me. JJ, already doing great. I want to thank you for having me on here and give me a chance to talk. But no, it's been really, really fun. It's a new experience for sure because it's kind of similar to the first time I tried acting because I've been acting ever since I was in middle school. And that first time you put yourself out there on a stage and get in front of people and you sit there and worry like, will they think I'm funny? Will they enjoy me?
Yeah.
And then you get some subscribers, you get some people watching, you start seeing the minutes go from tens to hundreds to thousands of minutes that people are watching you. And you start going, oh, hey, people are enjoying me. I'm doing something
which is
that
a good feeling, which is a very good feeling.
Right.
And I think it's cool.
It's great. And it basically becomes like it stretches into other areas. So, it's like now when I think about doing something, I'm like, okay, well, I did this already, so I can start doing that. So it kind of snowballs and it's a pretty fun process. And I find as long as you start working your way into, there's a great community around it too. Lots of people who do it. So it's been a fun experience so far.
It's multifaceted, definitely. Like the reason why I'm glad that you come on here now, again, as an up-and-comer, as somebody that's brand new, really just diving into this is because I feel like a lot of channels and a lot of creators, especially those that have made it in one way or another, don't do enough of that because I see a lot of collaborations and a lot of working together amongst channels and creators that are already established. Like to me, like up-and-comer doesn't necessarily mean that you already got past like 10K or 15K or whatever else. Not even like a couple 100K or a couple 1,000K like that. It's just silly to me how I can only see like that's like the type of quote unquote up and comer that certain channels work with. Not really like, really just starting out and just showing people like, okay, this is like my perspective, but go run with the ball now and actually go do something. Because I feel like you can get different perspectives from both sides. I feel like both creators, both newcomer and veteran, could really gain something out of that. Again, depending on what avenues people come from. As someone that's just starting out and stuff, did you ever feel like at one point, like maybe there was a lot of stuff that was intimidating about YouTube? Because that's how I felt when I first started.
Oh, absolutely. There is so much to it. Like, it started, the view point when you first walk in is, oh, I just got to get to have 20,000 views. And then you come on here and you know that there's more than views. It's engagement. It's likes. It's your click-throughs. It's your watch minutes. It's your SEO. Exactly. It's all these things. It's how well do you partner with other people? Is your stuff content appropriate? Are you getting content ID'd? If you are getting content ID'd, is it demonetizing or dropping your video? So it's one of those things where it's like, there is a lot going on. And then it's exactly as you said, you look at people like, I remember for years I've been watching like the Game Grumps and Normal Boots and things like that. So I look at the idea of stepping in and it's like, oh shoot, the completionist has well over 1 million subs and things like that. So but it can be daunting to look at. And really the only thing I found that kind of helps is basically I just try and look at it into more bite-sized modules. Like I set a very realistic goal and go from there. So my goal might be I want to get to 50 subs and then I want to get to 60 or 75. Then I want to get to 100. And then, hitting that, okay, I've hit a goal, and it gives me this thought process of, okay, so I know I can do that. So now I just got to do that over and over again. And then also
from there, like every little step from there, because it's multiple goals. Because obviously once you get that, you don't just stop and stuff. But even for me, like when I was starting out, like one of the things that was really intimidating to me is that, again, one, a lot of the larger creators just not working with people that are brand new. Like they just don't care. I felt like the majority of them, even ones that I admired and respected, felt like they just didn't care because either they had too much stuff to do or that they were just like caught up in their own thing. There's a lot of me on YouTube that I feel like with a lot of creators, and it's not just gaming because I know we're really into gaming and stuff, but it's like YouTube as a culture as a whole, just the way that the environment has been for like a good long time since the website started. But another thing also that I felt like was really important when I started off is that really trying to figure out what to do. Like actually really trying to figure out like, okay, what am I comfortable with talking about? Because I know I love games, but like, okay, do I have to niche myself down? Do I want to have to like, talk about certain genres and stuff like that? I felt that was a tough part as well. I mean, did you struggle with that a little bit? Like when you were actually like building up the YouTube channel, at least trying to figure out, okay, what do I want to do here?
Oh, absolutely. Real quick, I just want to address one thing you said before you ask the question, if you don't mind. Basically, when you were saying in relation to like the larger YouTubers and reaching down, and yeah, it's what you said, and you actually work kind of as a perfect example of that. It's the reason why I was saying it. With someone like you can't. And I get why someone like, say, Peanut Butter Gamer or The Completionist, what have you, they're not going to help every single little YouTuber because of course, they probably get hundreds of requests a day. There comes a limit. But the flip side of the coin is when someone bigger helps someone smaller, it just, like this right here is huge for me because I look at someone like Lady Pelvic, who you've done stuff with, or Super Pixel Girl, who you've done stuff with, who... They were smaller, and now all of a sudden I look and they got 15,000 subscribers. Lady Pelvic just did a video with Did You Know Gaming? So it's like, it seems like that definitely is a big thing. I just wanted to kind of speak on that real quick, if you didn't mind.
No, it's fine. I think that's good because, again, it's not about like trying to give clout to smaller channels. It's not about trying to get clout at the expense of a larger channel. What I think sometimes happens is, again, from my own perspective, not just coming at it from a YouTuber content creator's perspective, even as a games media person or a games journalist person. And again, those are like really sensitive terms now these days in one way or another. Right. But from my own perspective, having been exposed to a lot of this stuff, what I feel like is that sometimes it could be a little bit disingenuous sometimes where I feel like, okay, the larger creators or larger channels are helping smaller creators. But again, those are smaller channels that are already established. Like there is no like homegrown or at least, just starting up where somebody's like, okay, I'm getting into this for the first time and stuff. And there's like nobody that's coming down and be like, something, let me show you exactly how I did so you could go out and do your own thing. It's more about like a popularity contest sometimes. And that to me rubs me the wrong way in certain instances because I feel like there could be so much more better personalities or more personalities that people can latch onto, not at the expense of larger channels. I think that's also a big problem where people are like, it's like a crabs in a barrel mentality. It's like, oh, I can't help this person or I can't do something with this person because then I'm going to lose out something on me. And I don't think it should be like that. I think that's wrong. And if anything, that type of mentality is more destructive than actually just somebody asking to work with you. You know what I mean? Like that's a little silly and stuff, but I totally feel where you're coming from.
I guess it just kind of boils down to that worry of, not to get into any of the recent controversies and stuff, but, we've seen some YouTubers who we thought had a very clean look, and then the curtain gets pulled back, if you will, and there's way more going on. And so it becomes a worry of like, well, what if that happens to be the person who I endorsed? So I can get stuff like that.
It's a combination of things. In instances like that, and especially with bigger channels that, again, like there's huge things in the news and stuff, I think it's a combination of, one, a lot of stuff just gets a pass for a very long time that people just don't speak up about because of a little bit of the intimidation factor with being a larger channel. Again, especially as a YouTuber, there's a lot of worry out there for smaller channels where it's like, if I do something or if I say something and people just don't like it, then I'm done for. And I think that's wrong. I think that's messed up because you should be able to express yourself. And then obviously there's consequences with it, but at the same time, don't fear a lot of larger channels for like repercussions and stuff. But I think also on the flip side of that too, is a lot of the other creators out there and a lot of other people that are on the platform trying to look for things like that to get ahead. I think that's also a destructive part of it.
Right. That's why, when I reached out to you, I kind of put it as, and I hope you don't mind I put this out there, but I put it as, listen, I've got some stuff in the works because right now my channel is all Let's Plays. Within the next couple of weeks, though, I'm going to have reviews, analysis, things like that. This way you can look at that, get an idea of what I'm about, and then, if you want to work with me, you can, but you decided to do it this way of kind of me in the beginnings of that process, which is awesome. it's a bit more of a leap for you. So I just want to reiterate how much I appreciate that.
I get that, but I don't even look at it as a leap though. Like to me, the way I looked at it, at least in this case, and again, we're using ourselves as a perfect example, so we're kind of tooting our horn a little bit. So hopefully everybody listening to this doesn't like, oh my God, like you guys could stop like, doing but listen to this though, because I feel that, the majority of the time when I see like smaller creators, not myself, but I'm like, friends or colleagues of mine try to go up to other channels, and usually they end up getting into situations like that is because I don't feel like they're getting judged fairly. I don't feel like that they're getting their stuff looked at, or even, being given the benefit of doubt. Because obviously there's a lot of stuff on YouTube that happens, and there's a lot of stuff with larger channels where, they have a lot of other things to deal with. I get that. But at the same time, I still feel like it's a little bit much more genuine to actually, okay, like, again, I might be getting all these, like, requests from all these different places and stuff, but, like, I don't even take, like, the minute or two just to look at maybe one of them and actually see what a person's about. And even if I don't work with them, at least I took a look. At least in my own experience, again, I'm saying that as a smaller creator myself. Again, I'm not hitting the 1 million milestone yet, which I wish one day. But like even then, I still feel like having been like this for so long, I would still have that same mentality. It's like, let me just take a look. Let me actually see what one is all about, and actually see if someone that could be that next star, that next person I could also work with down the line.
Oh, absolutely. And it basically kind of boils down to, it's like that self-fulfilling prophecy. Like you don't have the exposure, so people don't hear your voice, and people don't want to hear your voice because you haven't gotten that exposure.
Exactly.
So
it's a chicken and egg thing.
Yeah, it just kind of goes in a circle. But as far as what you mentioned before about the idea of like, do I feel like I've got to niche myself or this, that, or the other? Yeah. I think it basically boils down to like, just talking about I think, again, and I could be, I'm still very early in this, but it kind of comes down to a passion, if you will. There is so much content available out there that you can't just talk about one thing because you think it will work. It's got to be something you care about. So right now, my channel has been all Let's Play videos. And the reason why I'm doing that, honestly, is because it gives me some content. It forced me to get the ball rolling. It forced me to start doing things. And it's the reason why now I've got a review coming out within a couple of weeks. Within a couple of weeks after that, I've got a deep analysis on gameplay versus designing a game around the gameplay and things like that. I'm going to talk about things that I really want to, but the content I'm making now essentially A, forces me to start doing that, and B, it honestly helps me, because even if it's as simple as me like editing little comments and pictures and things like that into 20 minutes worth of me playing a PlayStation 1 NBA game that I really loved and joking around with it, it's helping me sharpen my editing skills and things like that. So it kind of all builds towards the same goal. So for right now, obviously, I haven't really focused into a niche yet. Down the line, I probably will inevitably have to. Even if someone's going wide spectrum, there's always kind of a focus. Like, again, just to tie him back in, because I've been listening to him recently, The Completionist. He plays all different games from all different genres, but the ultimate thing he does is, I complete a game a week. So he's found his thing. I'm honestly not sure what my thing is yet. So I'm doing things that work for me with the goal that I'm guessing at least something has to stick out. And that may help me go, okay.
Something will click. Something will eventually click. Like, in the way that I could relate to that in my own work and stuff was when I went to my first E3. Like, that's when I figured, like, okay, this is like something I want to be a part of. In a way where it's like, okay, it wasn't just gaming at that point, because everybody's into gaming, everybody's into their stuff, and everybody has a voice and a passion for what they do. But then there's like certain things that are just like, all of a sudden they just either come naturally, or they just feel right to you when you do them. And then you do that eventually again and again and again. And usually that's the thing that sticks out to you. In my case, it'd be like talking to people, it'd be like, being involved with games in a certain way, or at least have an opinion about games and stuff. But I could understand, like in your case and many other creators' case, being in the same way where it's like, okay, I'm doing all these different things, but then all of a sudden there'll be that one game or that one type of style of video that I make that all of a sudden just clicks, and then that's just what my thing becomes eventually down the line.
Right. And my hope is that long term, I don't have to do one thing because, like I said, I've been performing since I was in middle school in one shape or the other. I do stand-up comedy. I do voices. I act. I sing. I do all these different kinds of things. So I want to be able to show off different things. But ultimately, I know if I find that one thing that clicks and that people click with, that kind of becomes the driving force, if you will, and that becomes the gateway for other things.
So let me ask you this. This is actually a good tangent to this. Did you ever get worried though, being someone that's up and coming or someone that's brand new to this, that you had to do a certain type of content in order for things to stand out? Like in perfect example that could be relation outside of gaming. A lot of people obviously are caught up on drama stuff. They're caught on, giving commentary about things that happen in the news. It doesn't necessarily have to be drama, but commentary channels. A lot of that gets associated with this, but really essentially they're giving an opinion about something that went down. So people could hear an additional opinion outside of where they got their info from. And personally for me, I refuse to do stuff like that. I refuse to be like make content like that because I feel like it's just not something that I want to do, or it's not something that I feel like is right or want to be involved with. But that also gets a lot of views. That works with the algorithm. That works with getting exposure. That works with getting numbers, subscribers and stuff. And for a lot of people, that's something that's very appealing to them because that's what they want and stuff. Did you ever get worried about getting caught up in something like that, or worried that you had to have to think about something like that?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think everybody does at some point.
Yeah, no, it basically boils down to, like, to give you an idea, just to wade my toe in it real quick without us having to focus on that as a thing, the recent Pro Jared drama. I've tried not to comment on that in online form much, like even on social media, but it does strike very close to me. And I was doing the stream the other night and I talked about it for like 10 minutes, but less on the drama aspect of it and more on the personal effect to me, because I mean, this is a guy I've never known, but literally for the last
I met him at E3 one time.
I wish I could. Like, for the last decade, he's been my favorite YouTuber. I've actually have on my Facebook from years ago. He was at a Dragon Con, and I couldn't go that year. But a friend of mine went, and I was like, "Listen, you need to hunt him down. I need you to record him saying hi to me and shouting bees or something of that effect." And he did, and he sent it to me, and it made my week, and things like that. So it got to me so personally. So I spoke about it a bit, but after it happened, a friend of mine was like, why don't you do like a vlog on your thoughts about it or addressing the whole thing, what have you? And I did think about it for a bit, but it basically boiled down to me saying, that would probably get hits one way or another. Like, and if that caused some growth, okay, but is that what I want to talk about?
It's a very fine line to walk there, because I go through the same thing, especially with me. I know I talked about it very tangentially and as part of a larger conversation in one of my other shows here on the channel that you guys can listen to. Shameless plug. The thing was is that
the podcast with
JJ's one man podcast. Yeah, that one. That was a separate show that I did that you guys can listen to. Yeah. But like the reason why I mentioned it tangentially is because I thought it was there was a thing about that was part of a larger conversation. What people don't want, what people really want though, and why those things get so much hits and so much traffic and exposure
is the drama of it all.
Thing is not just the drama, but like the opinion of the drama as another opinion that people could follow that just continues that cycle. I think that's where the problem is. And stuff. I don't think there's anything wrong giving an opinion about something, about any subject. It could be even the most horrible thing. I think that not only where the motivation and where the nature of it comes from, where the position that a person is coming from it, but also the purpose of it actually being put out there.
Right. And I think so, to give you an idea, the one like reporting on it, if you will, that I found that I really went, okay, I can live with that, is Treesicle. If you look them up, they kind of just did a catch you up on the story from the beginning of it coming, and actually from before that, from years ago, like him coming up in YouTube up to the point of like his second released statement and Holly's whole diatribe and whatnot. And they kind of just gave you an objective. Here's what's going on. And then they got into, but here's how this affects us, because we all love him. We all know him.
Yeah, I remember this.
And it was and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I could maybe do something like that. But in my case, it would just be a guy kind of talking about someone he's never met who he kind of idolized. And this already covered it.
It kind of just adds
exactly.
To it. It does the same
and
thing.
I didn't want to just be a guy just talking for views. And the thing is, I don't begrudge anyone who does that, because ultimately at the end of the day, listen, if that's your thing, if you want to talk about drama, this, that, or the other, I may not like it. I may not watch it or agree with it. But if it works for you, if you're making a living or making money off of doing it, I'll never begrudge anyone making a living doing something that they're getting paid for. If someone wants to watch it, that's their prerogative. Yeah. But that I don't want to do it for myself is the bottom line. And it became, I felt like if I did that, I kind of have to walk into that world.
Yeah. And,
So
that's an interesting thing because I think that's the struggle that every small time or like, beginning creator goes through. And it happens a lot and more so than people even consciously realize because you want to be out there. You want to be alongside those people. You want to be alongside these other channels that are getting these numbers like that. I think it's much more stronger and harder to say no or to really kind of think about something critically and objectively like that rather than just do what's, is just going to be, get you out there easily or be part of that pack and be part of that cycle, be part of that same kind of like monotone like mentality or that,
right.
that single road mentality. I think that's a lot more testament to the level of character of the person and the creator than it is about the content that they make.
Right. And it boils down to like it all ties in, like for like, follow for follow.
That's another thing too.
This, that, or the other is exactly. It became, is that I want to grow things, or do I want to grow things by the good old, for lack of a better way of putting it, greasing up the palms and the good old fashioned hard work kind of thing of, starting to interact with people onto it. Like I found you because I've started looking up new creators who are smaller, who I could try and reach out to, talk to, things like that. I found Bob Dunga. She led me to Super Pixel Girl and Lady Pelvic. That led me to you, this, that, the other. And it's not like I'm super close or talk to you, what have you, but just I'm tweeting out and liking things and retweeting things and whatnot. And then other people get engaged with you. The organic sort of growth, that's kind of what led me here. So it's one of those things where there's different ways to do it. I don't think there's necessarily a wrong way. I don't think the getting into the drama, this, that, or the other is the wrong way.
I think
it's the wrong way for me.
I think there could be. Yeah, well, for you, I think that's a better way of putting it.
Well, okay, let me rephrase. I think like a follow for follow and what have you, that's wrong because that's not real growth. Like all that's going to do is just give you a big follower count. It's not going to do anything. I meant more in the sense of like getting into the drama, this, that, or the other. It's a different style of video. It's not for me. There's different, not even beyond drama, I guess, fads. Be it
fads
drama.
Is the better word, yeah.
Right. Be it drama. Be it doing just nothing but Fortnite and Apex and Realm Royale. Being this, being that. For some people, it's perfect. It's what they love. It's what they're passionate about. It's what they can connect with. But I can't. Yeah. So the issue then becomes, and this is kind of the reverse version of what you're doing. It's less pressure to do that, and it's more now kind of a pressure question on me of, is what I'm doing worth it enough to watch or listen to?
Yeah.
So now I become more guessing it that way because it's like, if the drama or the fad videos or the Fortnite or whatever is what people want to watch, do they want to watch the things I'm making? And I guess it just becomes, you have to figure out whether there is an audience for what you're doing and kind of roll the dice with it. And you may be wrong, you may be right, but if you're going for it because that's what you want to do, even if you strike out, at least you did it with, in my mind, I should say, even if I strike out, at least I did it going for what I wanted to do and with integrity in the process. For some people, their integrity is doing drama. Like, okay, cool, whatever. But for me, it would be fake.
It's a very big checks and balance thing. And I think everybody, again, especially newer creators, go through that. I think that's a very important thing that a lot of people, need to kind of observe just with their own content, but also just look at others and kind of like take that in. I think that's a very, very good thing and stuff. I think that's also a good spot to end this because I think that, again, we touch on a lot of good points for newer creators and stuff. But Josh, thank you so much for chatting up with me on this episode. We're gonna talk more on EX mode. We're gonna talk a little bit more and dive into a few more things. But where can everybody find you right now? You're on the socials, correct?
Yes. First of all, just wanted to thank you once. I cannot state enough how much I appreciate it.
Anytime.
But yeah, you can find Game Dad. There is more than one game.
Say that again because you broke up really quick. So say that again. So I can hear you.
Sorry, I said you can find me as Game Dad, but there is more than one game. I found out I made my channel before the other guys did, but I didn't start doing stuff until after that.
You're the original Game Dad.
Right. I'm the first one. I have the receipts on my About page to prove it. But I'll definitely shoot you a link so you have that. But you can find me on twitch.tv at twitch.tv/Anoriand, ANORIAND. And you can find me, I'm on Game Dad on Facebook, and I am Game Dad Graham on Instagram, and at Game Dad JF on Twitter. So you can find me at any of those. for conversation, for ideas. If you like my stuff, if you want to say, hey, you should play this or give your thoughts on this or whatever, I'm always up for new stuff. So anyone who wants to reach out or have a conversation, hey, I am here.
There you go. So there'll be links in the description box below, so all of you guys can go check it out when you guys can. Show us some love, send some owl hugs, give them a subscribe, give us some likes over there. That'd be kind of dope if you guys could do that. So we send owl hugs to everybody that comes on the show at some point. If I ever get a big enough audience where I get it like really large, like I'm big time like that, I want everybody just posting owl emotes to every like one of the people's videos that we send it to, because I think it'd be funny. Fair. I think it'd be really funny. It's like, it's not anything bad. It's just funny because the owls are hilarious. But
hey, listen, absolutely.
Exactly. So, but thank you, Josh, for joining me on the show. Guys, if you love this episode, if you love the show, if you love all the stuff, let me know what's good in the comment section down below. Don't forget to leave a like on this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more videos and more content just like this. We're going to talk a little bit more on my EX mode content, which is available over on my Patreon page. Remember, guys, I am on Patreon. For the $1 level or higher, you're going to get a ton of exclusive content, including this bonus episode we're going to do right after this. So anyway, we will talk to you guys again very soon. Peace out and stay epic, everybody.